Victor Wembanyama finally has a real co-star.
The Kings are still the Kings.
And the Bulls are here along the ride having a good time, I guess.
I guess so.
So I know the entire NBA world is currently only capable of thinking about the new greatest trade of all time, greatest star player in the NBA, the greatest team that's going to dominate the NBA for years to come, the Los Angeles Lakers. But at some point over the past week, another trade happened. I know nobody was thinking about it, but De'Aaron Fox is now on the Spurs. Zach LaVine is now on the Kings. And I think the Bulls got something in return for him. It's nothing, I don't know. But today we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm surprised you came up for air from the whole Luka thing. You know, it's good to see you're still alive. It's good to see. I mean, wipe the spit when you're done. But
my God,
it's good. I'm glad we're here, and I'm happy to be talking about a different team and a trade that at least it makes more sense. It is crazy. I don't know. Every other trade that's happened, like any other year, this would be the bombshell trade of the deadline. It feels like, and it's just normal now compared to what happened the other night. But a lot of fallout from it still, so I'm happy to talk about it.
You're happy to talk about another team. I'm happy to talk about it with who we have here today. We got Kenny Beecham. We had the representative of the Bulls fandom here to talk about the most interesting thing the Bulls have done in years, I guess. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel like, a little envious, a little jealous. Someone here gets to root for Jokic. Someone here gets to root for Luka and Bron. And I get to root for Josh Giddey. So,
oh, my God.
Hey,
don't
Vooch is still
Vucevic.
there. Vooch is making it through. He's making it through the deadline, baby.
that's what it seems like, right? He's so excited to be here, man. You got to love someone that loves the city. You also still can't get traded.
For now, as of recording this, I don't know if this will be the case by the time it comes out tomorrow, but for now, you do have Big Baller Brand behind you, too. That's something.
Yeah. Lonzo is one of those dudes that you love to have on your team until the team is not trying to be good anymore. It's like, what are we doing here? A team that also has 7 other point guards. It's like,
Yeah.
Shout out Lonzo.
That was Chicago's gimmick for a while. It was like every offseason, it was like, oh, you're a guard that can kind of defend? We'll take you. We need one more of those, baby. And now, this is the end result of that, I guess.
They've been starting Lonzo, Josh Giddey, Ayo Dosunmu, and Kobe White. That's 4 point guards with Vucevic. That's been our starter lineup for like 2 weeks now. It's so amazing to see big forwards just go into Chicago and drop 20 on a nightly basis. Nikola Jovic, man, he just had 22 against us. Is like, I guess that's who he is against the Bulls.
I guess
that's how everybody is against the Bulls, I guess. But like I said, we're here to grade this trade. We're going to talk about it from the Spurs perspective, the Kings perspective, and I guess the Bulls perspective. If you live under a rock or you're too busy thinking about Luka Doncic, the details of the trade is the Spurs get their running mate next to Victor Wembanyama in De'Aaron Fox and Jordan McLaughlin. The Kings get Zach LaVine, Sidi Kosoko, I don't know if I said that right at all, 3 first-round picks and 3 second-round picks. The Bulls get, keep a straight face, Zach Collins, Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter, and their own first-round pick back. And the details of that and why that's funny, we'll talk about later when we get to the Bulls section. But this is the deal. Zach LaVine's finally out of there. Spurs finally got a guy. What is y'all's main general takeaway from this?
That the Spurs just find a way to make everybody look stupid, specifically Chicago, but like everybody looks stupid time and time again. Them holding on to the good draft picks is pretty cool. Them holding on to every single piece of young talent is cool. And De'Aaron Fox is like, I just saw him at the practice. He's smiling ear to ear, all 32. I can see them all. He's just excited to be there. So that's a cool takeaway from it for me. De'Aaron Fox, who used to be one of my favorite players, is now playing along somebody better than Sabonis.
Used to be. Are you over it? You're exiling him from your fandom?
I only have a certain capacity of players I can root for at one time. Mm-hmm. And then he just became kind of dull to me. Not that he's bad. He didn't do anything negatively. But like some guys have just jumped him in the hierarchy of my brain. So
too many mid-range jumpers these days. Not enough driving.
Like Tumani Kamara or De'Aaron Fox. That seems pretty easy for
questions to be answered.
But for me...
Maybe it's foreshadowing. Maybe we'll hear that name again at some point later.
Maybe.
Who's
okay,
to
let's
say?
start off. Let's start off with this section about the Spurs. Let's grade it for the Spurs. Jack, what letter grade are you giving them for this haul?
I gave the Spurs an A. The untouchable Stephon Castle, he remains in San Antonio, and like Kenny said, to add a borderline all-star level guy, looking at everything they gave up, it's like, oh yeah, absolute no-brainer. You do that 10 times out of 10. And even if it doesn't work out, you didn't give up the amount of stuff that would really like bite you. You're just comfortable with it.
Yeah, I don't think Fox is some like long-term dynamic superstar that's going to be next to Wemby and like get to the championship territory. But the fact that he gave up 0 important players, 0 important picks, and got blessed by the Chicago Bulls coming to this trade and letting you run off on them, it's an easy A. Like, this is so clear value, no matter how you feel about 2024 De'Aaron Fox. It's kind of a robbery.
Yeah, my one gripe, at least initially, was like, what if somebody better than De'Aaron Fox becomes available? And then I remember they still hold all of the good draft picks. They still have all of the young talent. They still have Harrison Barnes and Keldon Johnson's contract. So hypothetically, if somebody great becomes available this offseason, they could acquire that player too. So it's an A, man. Having any form of rim pressure around Wemby would be dope. Like, Keldon Johnson has moments where he can get to the rim, and that's pretty cool. But like, they were running Chris Paul, who doesn't touch the paint at all. So to have De'Aaron Fox, who's not the same level of paint threat as he was like 3 to 4 years ago, but to have him on the court with Wemby, I just don't know how you're going to guard it.
Yeah, that's definitely the reason De'Aaron Fox has been so enticing is because, in theory, at one point, he was the premier slashing guard in the NBA before Shea came in and snatched his crown. And I guess you give Ja second place. And that's why it was so enticing. You know, you got this 5-out center who can give you probably I don't know if you've ever seen somebody that spaces the floor more than Wemby just because of how tall he is. You have to be all up in his face to contest it. So even if he shoots not as good as Cat, not as good as Dirk, whoever, I think the spacing he provides in that position is greater than anybody's ever seen. And obviously, if you have someone like De'Aaron Fox who's known to attack the rim, that's appealing. But you said in theory. That's a good thing we should highlight first. We got this graphic on screen with his rim volume every single season and his rim field goal percentage. 2 years ago in 2023, he shot 77% at the rim. That's when he was an all-star. That's when he was unstoppable force down there. Since then, the volume's gone down every single year since 2020. The efficiency isn't where it was back then. How do you guys view like the reality of his rim scoring these days?
I think that I didn't think about. I don't remember who put it into my brain, onto my timeline, whatever. It was just this concept that Fox is a left-handed guy who had been playing with a left-handed center they're both Sabonis and Fox are left-handed. And so just the amount of aggression you could show towards that side of the rim was really hampered because him and Sabonis are both, that's where they want to go. And so I think, like through all of that, the numbers aren't what they should be. If you're going to be like an all-star, like he should be better at scoring at the rim than what he has been lately. But I think if you're looking for something that like might change with this change of scenery, I do feel like you could point to that and be like, okay, well, his life is easier now. Like he could go to his dominant hand a lot more consistently.
I've never thought about the dominant handedness and how much that matters for a tandem. It's interesting.
Yeah, you just blew my mind with that, low key.
I shout out to whoever. I really don't want to take credit for that. I just forgot to write it down. But it is like something that when you think about it, you're like, oh, obviously, like, yeah, like he can't, if he's left and he can't go left, like that is a problem to some degree.
Yeah, see, that's me being a calculator boy, not thinking about stuff like that because I'm not a player.
So I don't know if you have the numbers in front of you, but this is just strictly all vibes and me watching a lot of Sacramento Kings over the last couple of years. It felt like a lot of the rim touches or paint touches that we saw from De'Aaron Fox or rim attempts got exchanged for shorter twos that aren't necessarily at the rim, but it's like between him taking a mid-range jump shot and him being at the rim. And I thought he was pretty damn good at that maybe not this season, but like the last couple seasons, that we might not see the same rim pressure as when he was 22, 23 years old. But even that in-between game is something that the Spurs were lacking completely. The best they had was Chris Paul pull up mid-range jump shot, and that's just not the same pressure on the defenses as what De'Aaron Fox had been doing over the last couple years. If I'm not mistaken, he was last time I checked, it was like 2 years ago, he was in like the 82nd percentile, and not just the frequency of hitting that like floater range, but like the accuracy as well. And that's amongst all guards. So like if he can still do that, but also maybe get some more of that rim pressure, again, I just don't know a better fit is just a better player, but like given what you gave up, it's just great. It's just as good as it can be. Yeah,
he definitely is a very high volume floater range, like you said. 85th percentile this year in volume there is 33% of his shots. But it's always been that high. In 2022, when he was at his highest rim volume since he's been a star, it was 29% at the rim. Now it's 23. So that 6% change isn't coming from short mid-range though. It's from three. He went from 20% three-point volume to 29. So it's kind of like what we were talking about Anthony Edwards earlier in the year when people were like kind of like doom posting about like, oh, does a slashing of Ant take a hit because now he wants to shoot all these threes? he does that at a good enough rate that I think we found that like, oh no, Ant's just kind of fucking unguardable now. It's kind of cool that he's the best shooter in the league. Mm-hmm. Fox is not the best shooter in the league. I think he's actually the case study for losing a little bit of that. You're right. He does that. Interior mid-range scoring is valuable, but it's always been that. So the fact that the 3-point percentage went up so high, but he's still not like a super lethal off the dribble 3-point shooter, that's when I think you can kind of question it and be like, I don't know, maybe I kind of liked it better when you fullback dived every play.
Yeah, he's a bit smaller than Shea, obviously, but one of my favorite things about Shea's game is his ability to never settle. And I think that's just him being herky-jerky, him being 6'5", 6'6", and just being bigger than most of the people that are guarding him. And like sometimes I watch De'Aaron Fox and I just like think to myself, what if he had that same mindset? But it's a lot different because he's 4 inches shorter, so it's a lot harder for him to do the same thing.
Yeah.
But if De'Aaron wanted to get to his spot, like because he is a freak of nature when it comes to his speed and his dribble package, if we talking like video game terms, he has the ability to do some of that stuff. But I do believe that like you think about the last couple of years in Sacramento, the spacing hasn't nearly been as good as you would want for a guy like De'Aaron Fox. And now when you have Wemby, you mentioned how he might be the best stretch center that we've seen specifically on his range. And you add some of the other pieces in theory, like a Devin Vassell, in theory for Devin Vassell. Got to keep saying that because he has not been great. That some of that stuff should just open up.
A lot of theories.
Yeah, the concept of Devin Vassell is sick as fuck. But
hell yeah.
The concept of Devin Vassell is like Chris Middleton or Tyler Hero. Yeah. The reality of Devin Vassell is, is he come off the bench some games? That's interesting. Right. That's surprising.
Yeah.
But no, a lot has been said. I was arguing with someone on Twitter a little bit about somebody was saying the reality of De'Aaron Fox isn't necessarily a good fit with Wemby. Like straight up not a good fit. And I know what they mean. It's the rim scoring isn't quite what it once was, and you want that more with Wemby. And there's also a lot of criticism of his passing type, that he's really a driving kick to shooter type of passer. He doesn't have like that Chris Paul gene to set up lobs. He's not Trae Young in that way, which I understand. I got his passing pulled up. 8 assists for 100 possessions is not a lot. 2.8 of those assists come at the rim. It's only 35%, whereas Chris Paul is at 13.7 assists per 100, and 39% of his shots are assisted at the rim. How much of that do you guys think is him and his abilities, and how much of that can be changed with the new structure where you're playing with the stretch 5 instead of a passing hub 5? You're playing with somebody who obviously is better than you. Obviously, the coaches are going to want you to feed the big guy. Like, do you guys see Fox as like capable of changing that?
Well, one thing that jumps out to me is the fact that like people are like he's not a good lob thrower. What lob threats has he really like consistently played with in
Alex
Sacramento? yeah. Shout out. Like Sabonis, cool athlete in some regards, but he's not a vertical guy like that. And when even going back to like the floater mid-range stuff that you guys were just talking about, I feel like all of that blends together for if you're like a smart enough player, a smart enough passer, and you're like a patient mid-range operator who can consistently hit that weird little 5'8" foot floater. It's not going to be impossible to throw lobs to Wemby. It's like literally the biggest catch radius in the history of basketball, maybe. And so I don't feel like he needs to be Chris Paul to be able to make that like a really successful pairing, just because once like the threat of the lob is there, it makes the defense like they have to react to that so hard that your life in that 5 to 8 foot range is going to be a lot easier. And so while I agree that like the passing, he doesn't blow me away as a passer or anything, I don't think he is going to have to make that many insane decisions to be successful with Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, I have the same sentiment. I mean, I don't look at De'Aaron and the way this team is constructed now or what it could look when the Spurs are really good and think that he needs to be the primary facilitator for everybody involved. Like just the idea of what Wemby is and what he can be. I don't think he has to be Chris Paul. I don't think he has to be, I don't know, he got Chris Paul, first of all, so he ain't got to worry about that.
Yeah, I was going to say, he already got him. We got him at home.
But I'm trying to think of another comparison. Like, if he is
like Garland or
definitely don't have to be
someone. Yeah.
If he is an average, a slightly above average playmaker for this team, I think that is enough. I honestly do think that's enough because I do trust some of the other guys. Now, this guy's played every position in his young NBA career, and they're saying this is the way it's going to be. But like Jeremy Sohan is a smart decision maker at times. He's not definitely making the cross court passes to the opposite corner, but they have a lot of smart younger players there. Even a guy, Stephon Castle, who came into our draft room and said, I'm going to be a point guard at this next level. he's trying to take steps as a playmaker. So I feel like as long as everybody else on that team has the idea that Wemby is our guy and throw the fucking ball to Wemby when he's open, everything else is gonna fall into place, man. I feel like everything will fall into place.
Which is like
it can kind of be
really,
like Shea.
It's like, I don't know. To me, that's a really easy sentiment. It's so frustrating that like there's been growing pains with that though, where it's like, you know, throw the ball to Wemby since he got into the league has been like the recipe. And like there's just been these moments where it's like 4 guys on the floor, nobody is throwing it to Wemby. And so like it just
Keldon Johnson time, baby.
I guess, yeah. And it's weird because individually, I agree. Like I like a lot of these guys as, you know, supplemental playmakers or like they catch and swing, whatever guys. And I think through collective effort, they could probably supplement Fox maybe not being the greatest playmaker, but yeah, with the Keldon Johnsons of the world, I do worry about them. If you want to go that route and have it like, you know, passing by committee, you can't have anybody on the floor who's going to fuck up ball movement. Like you have to trim those minutes.
That's the interesting part. The new rotation I have written down just what my thoughts will be is the starters is Fox, Vassell, Barnes, Sohan, Wemby. I imagine that's what we see day one. And the bench unit, you got Chris Paul, Castle, Champagny, Keldon Johnson, and I guess Bassey is their backup 5 now with Zach Collins gone.
Shout out to Bassey. He's been good.
Shout out Charles. Shout out Chuck. Yeah. That to me looks like they can use Fox in the same way playing off of Wemby that Shea plays off of Chet when they're healthy. That stretch 5. And obviously nobody, maybe in NBA recent history, is as good as Shea at generating a rim pressure attempt every single time down the court. He will get past his man. He will get the defense moving. He's not even that good of a passer. Like I've said in the past, Jason Tatum's a better passer than Shea. And I don't feel like that's wrong. But his ability to get downhill and start that chain reaction like you guys talked about and keep the ball moving works real well because you got J-Dub next to him. You got Casey Wallace next to him. You got Caruso next to him. Even Hartenstein and Chet are good passers themselves from the 5 position. They could do that similar thing, but it's super dire version because Fox doesn't play like that anymore. Yeah. And do you guys have faith in like if they had the starters out there that Barnes and Vassell have those playmaking chops like playing off them to do that? They have to make a real big focus on it.
Yeah, HB is Mr. Never Swing the Ball for sure. If he sees a shot, he's going
up.
Take it.
The ball is going up, baby. Yeah. Oh man.
So yeah, that'll be a little learning curve.
That's also one of the things that like I think as NBA fans we definitely get a lot short-sighted when it's like these big-time deals. Like even with the Lakers, it's like Paul Pierce immediately tweeted LeBron and Luka don't fit. It's like that's not what this trade is about necessarily, right? So like we talk HB has probably gone in a year or two, right? Like we think about we're really building for 24-year-old Wemby, 25-year-old Wemby, even though 21-year-old Wemby's a top 10 player already, right? So it's not something that I care about too much. Obviously, they make this deal now, and their expectations have shifted dramatically, right? If they were, before this trade, if they ended up as the 11th seed, I would still say, like, okay, season, you know, compared to what they were last year. Now that you have Fox in there, a play-in game, at least 2 games is a bare minimum. So we can think short-sighted there, but when I'm thinking about the Spurs in a bigger picture, I guess, with De'Aaron and Wemby.
Yeah. Short or long term, Harrison Barnes should not be a big point of interest in your conversation. That should not be a holdup for you in any way.
I mean, there are a few teams out there that do it by committee when it comes to this playmaking thing. Like, obviously, DG at one point, I mean, I guess he still has the playmaking chops. He was like averaging like 9 assists. But if you think about the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're running 5 guys on a nightly basis that are playing free flowing. You don't look at it and be like, oh, Darius Garland has 26 assists tonight. No, but like everybody's willing to make that extra pass. And I feel like that could be the mold that the Spurs go. I mean, historically in our lifetime, we've seen Spurs teams play like this. It wasn't Tony Parker or Manu specifically, but like they just play with this rhythm that can be replicated. And if you think about De'Aaron Fox and Tony Parker comps are like not that crazy.
Low key. Yeah. I never thought about that. Low key, that's kind of close.
Not that crazy. Another team that jumps out to me like that is when the Grizzlies don't have Ja in the lineup, they do a lot of like similar stuff in terms of committee playmaking, and what they do that's really cool is the ball touches the paint and then like they just are running cut after cut after cut off of a guy. They're not really using like a ton of screens, and I don't know, San Antonio's not just going to rip that playbook entirely, but when you have as many like athletic guys as the Spurs are really looking to like have out there, then utilizing them, getting them a full head of steam without the ball, especially for people whose handles aren't super tight, it's just really advantageous. So like obviously Fox can dribble and Wemby can dribble, but like if you get Stephon Castle rolling to the rim without having him like put the ball in front of a defender or something, similar to Sohan, like I like those looks a lot, and so yeah, I feel like they could do it.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we all expect it'll be a good move. We're all grading it an A. It's obviously good value. It's a stepping stone for a team that can't really afford to be asked around Wemby for any amount of time. Like when you have a top 10 player in a rookie deal, you immediately want to win games. You're past the point of being able to tank.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about what we would do if we're running the Spurs. We're gonna play a little game. We're gonna do a draft. We're gonna draft NBA teams around Victor Wembanyama. So we all have Wemby at center. After that, we have 4 open spots. We're going to draft 1 superstar, 1 all-star, that's like, a lower-level all-star, and 2 role players to build our perfect teams around Vic.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't even think I told you guys about this. So put you on the spot a little bit. You better get your team-building hat on.
Especially
if you can. You got a reputation to uphold. You better rebuild this team.
Yeah, I'm an idiot. So, like, if my team sucks, it doesn't matter. But, Kenny, if your team sucks, that's embarrassing.
Facts. So we'll give you first pick even. Actually, should we give you third pick? Because you got the competitive advantage.
Nah, he's the guest. He's the guest. First pick.
Okay, fine. We'll be cordial. Kenny gets first pick. Who do you want to pick as your first player in your build around Wemby draft?
So I get 1 star.
1 superstar, 1 all-star, and 2 role players.
Okay. Well, we keep comparing the two as far as the type of archetype. I'm going to take Shea because that rim pressure with Wemby would be unmesswittable. Do y'all curse on the show?
Oh,
yeah.
Who the fuck are you?
Okay. Unfuckwittable. I just.
Yeah, I
fucking
can't
see.
curse,
And I feel
bro.
like.
Yeah, I'm cool. Chill like that.
I feel like I could find some stuff in other places. So I'm going to take maybe the league MVP to start off with.
Okay. Listen, picking the better version of Fox is smart. Okay. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God this guy fell to me. Give me Luka Doncic at point guard. I'll just take the best passer in the league to fit with the best lob thrower. Best lob threat.
Forgot he existed. Have we heard about him in the last week or two? I feel like we haven't heard much.
I've dreamt about him in the last week or two.
I heard he's like 400 pounds. That's kind of what I heard. And like, yeah, I heard he's just like drowning in barbecue sauce, and it's just really sad. But yeah. So Anthony did
That's
like
my
a guy
favorite
like you do. Yeah, I guess. Fuck. All right. Well, I was gonna take Luka.
I bet you were.
I'm trying to think of like superstars. That's like who I really wanted as like super duper stars.
That's tough.
Yeah, I guess so. Low key. I'm running him at the 4. I don't give a shit. I do want Jokic, and that's fine.
Let's go. Maybe, surprise.
Yeah. Maybe I'll figure it out. I just have faith that Wemby will be good enough defensively that we can figure that shit out with Jokic. And then the connection. I mean, oh my god! Like if you want to talk about lob passing, like Jokic is gonna catch it in the paint, and like it's just gonna be a dunk every single time. That's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. For my all-star, give me Jaren Jackson Jr. Just give me the craziest shot blocking duo you could think of.
That was 100% my next pick. I was praying that we were able to pick that man up. I think he fits.
I am
so
a reformed Jaren hater. I'm reformed. He's won me over this year. He's not overrated.
When were you hating, dude? Oh my god.
I wasn't really hating. I was just saying his defense was gas because like last year, every year in the summer we do positional debates on TU3 like during the summer, and his defense is obviously very valuable as a weak side shot blocker, but I was like, Evan Mobley's a way better defender. I think people look too much at blocks, and he's like a gadget defender in some ways. And while that's still true, his offense is just ridiculous. The ball handling translated from last year, the shots falling, he's getting to the rim using that size. He's just absurd.
Okay, so it's my pick, right? Do I get back-to-back here?
You do. Snake draft.
Okay, so I will take Evan Mobley then. That was my number 2 option if Jaren was off the board.
Wait, if it's a snake draft,
you don't
I did
seem
not
pretty
get to go
impressed about
twice. I just want to say that. I just want to say I didn't get to go twice if it's a snake draft.
Oh, yeah.
That's fine.
We skipped you. Go ahead and pick your other player.
What the fuck? Okay. Well, I'll leave Mobley on the board. I guess I want... So, if Jokic is like my superstar, at the 3, fuck. I'll take Kevin Durant. I want Kevin Durant there.
Kevin Durant's a superstar. You can't have Kevin Durant.
Oh my god. Okay, whatever. Let me think. Fuck, you're really putting me on the spot, dude.
Oh yeah, Kevin Durant's top 10 player in the world, greatest scorer of all time potentially.
Oh my god, you guys are dicks. I'm not
you
having
think
fun
we take
anymore.
Evan Mobley if KD was available?
I know.
Hey, okay, that's fair. That's fair, I suppose. Shout out to Mobley though.
Yeah, for sure.
Damn, I guess at the 1 I'll take I'll go. Can I take Cade Cunningham here?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll take Cade. I feel like he's a underrated defender, and I would love to see him in a more off-ball like role. I have a ton of faith in him expanding his game in that capacity, and I feel like him playing off of Jokic and Wemby would be sick.
Okay. That's a lot of passing talent. 1, 4, and 5.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. All right. Now you can do your 2 picks since we got back to his ass.
Yeah. Sorry. I just didn't want to fucking get. I mean, you guys are really. It's just collusion, low key, but whatever.
I know.
So
so you pick Mobley.
Yeah, I'm taking Mobley,
Okay.
and then these next 2 picks are role players. Yeah, like non-all-stars.
Yes. Yeah, non-all-stars.
I think this player may be slightly overrated in some departments, but I'm still going to take Derek White.
You think the defense
is
fell
he
off?
available?
He is.
I do think it fell off just a little bit from last season, but like in this context, I think he's perfect for what we're trying to do.
Oh, fair enough.
Because
you
the
definitely need another
three-point
ball
shot is
handler.
still doing the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still shooting 38% from 3 made attempts per game. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah, it takes like 3 years of people to like get off of elite defender titles. Of people that if you get the reputation of an elite defender, you're going to carry it till you're 35.
He can still foul the
So,
shit out of
offensively,
somebody,
so
and they won't call it. Is what you're saying. Like he still tackles
There you
someone.
go.
They're like, he's gritty. That's clean, dude.
Yeah. Give me somebody else who gets to get away with hard fouls. Give me OG Anunoby at the 3.
I like that.
Oh man! Shout out to OG. Small ball center. He could literally stab someone, and they're not calling it.
If you're big enough muscles, they'll let you get away with anything.
They don't care. That rocks. All right. Am I up
They're
there?
gonna be started on Dort.
Okay, so I'm picking both then. I'm picking both my final role players.
You are.
Okay. At 2, I want to go Dyson Daniels. And I just
that's
want
a
to
good
really.
pick with Cade.
I want to insulate Jokic as much as possible defensively, and so we need some killer point of attack shit. And then at the 3, I'm tempted to go like Jumbo here, just because I want to see how it would work. Fuck. I'll take Santi Aldama at the 3. I really like what he's done this
Okay.
season.
All right.
I love
That's a
Santi.
name.
I love Santi Aldama. And yeah,
course you do.
I think. Hey, okay, geez, what is that supposed to mean? Yeah, I'm cool with that though. I'll take Dyson and Santi, and we'll see what's up.
I'll just go ahead and pair my real life best backcourt in the league. Give me Austin Reeves as the 2 to pair Luka.
Oh my god! I mean, you do have Wemby and Jaren.
These white
back
boys
there.
are dangerous.
I'm sure you'll be
Yes.
fine.
Finals bound.
So when we say role player,
Oh god.
like, are we saying non-all-star appearances? Like, how do we classify what a role player
Say
is?
the
in
name,
2025?
and we'll say yes or
Say
no.
it.
This,
I know
this
it's gonna be
guy's
bullshit. Let it rip.
Trey Murphy III. He's having
Oh,
a phenomenal
okay.
year. He's
I'm
averaging.
cool with
Okay,
that.
we're taking that. All right.
Yeah,
that's
you can
fine.
have Trey.
Damn,
That's
that's
my
a
last
great poll. That did not come up in my mind at all, but he's been insane this season. Shout out to Trey
He's like
Murphy.
3 months away from breaking out of role player talks, but for now you can have him.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
You got in right under the wire. You bought low. You bought the dip.
He's 22-5 right now. So
He's
if you're
so
not
good,
watching, you may not be able to know, but he's killing it.
And you're the only one who picked the podcaster, so I give you some points too.
Damn.
Who did I pick?
Okay.
Trey Murphy.
Trey Murphy's a podcaster. Oh, yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Rookie
He's
of
our
the year.
peer. He's our peer. That's our coworker. You know.
He's just like us.
Yeah. There's a lot of
Okay, we got some
similarities
good
between
teams.
me. Yeah.
We can move on now from the Spurs talk. Let's talk about this trade from the Sacramento Kings. What are you guys grading this for the Kings? Letter grade.
Kenny,
It's
you
a bit
go.
difficult for me to figure out. Because I had this fight with myself, like, who has the leverage in this trade? De'Aaron Fox said he openly wants to go to the Sacramento Kings, so you would assume that he wants to go to the Spurs, so you would assume the Sacramento Kings just don't have the leverage. But I look at what they got in return. I made this argument on our podcast, and I'll do it again. You could argue that just player for player this season, Zach LaVine has been better than De'Aaron Fox. I'll do that because that's
Yeah.
my guy.
Hell yeah.
but
Shout
again,
out
for sure.
to Zach. Yeah.
You could
also-
definitely argue he's a better fit too.
I don't. That's the part that I'm struggling with, Isaac, because I think about all of the premier scorers, if you will, on that team, and it is a weird fit. As somebody that got to watch DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine for 4 seasons here in Chicago, night to night.
Yeah, that's gross.
I didn't love it then, and I don't love it now, even with the upgrade from Vucevic to Sabonis. Like, but then again, they didn't have the leverage, so it's like
I
how
love
good-
Zach LaVine's game next to playmakers like Malik Monk and Domantas Sabonis. Having him fly around and not necessarily need to be a playmaker, that's okay with those two guys. I would like it a million times more if DeMar DeRozan was not there and Keegan Murray was fourth in the fiddle there. So That makes it complicated. I'll go B because I'm with you. I don't want to see this duo again. But I think if you had to get rid of Fox and you want to remain a good team because you're the Kings and you are going nowhere fast, you want to stay mid forever, you can. Zach LaVine's a good substitute there to continue to be the 9 seed.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just hating because I wanted to see Zach play for a team that like had a chance to do something special.
Oh, like the Lakers?
No joke.
Holy
I would
shit.
have really enjoyed that.
Me too.
Yeah, I bet you would have.
Too bad.
Hey,
you landed with Luka, I guess. You know.
Yeah, I guess.
Some people just
dude.
win. I don't know what you want me to do about it. Haters
Whatever.
on the block.
Whatever, dude.
Everywhere I look, there's haters.
I gave the Kings.
Aren't you from Texas?
I'm from LA originally. Then I moved to Texas when I was like 9.
Oh, okay. Okay, word.
I gotta fucking protect my LA credibility.
No. I love In-N-Out, dude. I love it. I swear.
I really do.
I gave the Kings a C. I gave the Kings a C minus just because for me, I was factoring in the giving up the franchise, De'Aaron Fox, like this guy who has been with your dog shit team the entire time they've been like really bad. Giving that guy up and just staying in the exact same spot does not feel great to me. Just like doing that to tread water. I get why it happened. I understand the reasoning and like the domino effect of the reports coming out. It's still like it's got to be frustrating as a team that never gets free agents and drafted so poorly for so long. You hit on this guy, and then it's like, oh, well, now we're just to remain in play-in talks. We're shipping them out for like some okay firsts.
The Kings are one of those franchises you grade on a curve because you know nothing good is going to happen to them. And you know they don't even really want something good to happen to them, really. Like they say they do, but they're not really about it. They're not going to do what it takes to have anything positive in this life. So
that's such a Lakers fan take. Oh my God. To be like, yeah.
So you grade them.
You just don't sleep the right way at night. You know, you just don't come out. You just don't write your stuff down in your dream journal enough to have good things really happen to you. The way that I do. Like I'm really consistent with my manifesting. And so that's why Luka's on my team right now. There's a worm in Nico Harris's brain. That's why you feel this way. The only reason it turned right and went to the Lakers, if it had turned left and gone to the Kings and he picked up the wrong phone, you would be upset right now. You're not special. Oh my God.
Like I was saying, the Kings want to be mid, so for their standard, it's a success. For the standard of what's actually smart for a team, it's dumb as hell to just purposely be a 9 seed. But if that's what the Kings want to do and that's their prerogative, who am I to grade them on a scale of a smart team?
I guess.
And it makes it feel like we hate Zach because Zach is so great at what he does.
I
almost shed a tear. I almost shed a tear. Like
I bet you did, man. I saw your video. Third favorite Bull of all time. That's high praise.
Third favorite of all time.
This year he
jumped
deserves
Jimmy
it.
Butler. He jumped Jimmy Butler. I didn't even know that was possible. He jumped Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
This year Zach LaVine is at 24 points, 4.5 assists, 4.8 rebounds, 44% from 3, and 63% true shooting. Straight up elite season. And you're saying it sounds like we hate Zach. I don't hate Zach at all. I think Zach is awesome. The fact that I can think that he's a better fit than Fox says a lot. I just think that this is a team that has their flaws, right? And while LaVine can come in and make them just as good, which is a testament to his skills, in fact, improve them in some areas, he's a better outside shooter, low-key a better transition player than Fox, and just really, really good at a lot of things that complement their stars, he fixes exactly 0 of their issues. And that's why they're still mid. He doesn't help their rim volume go up. He doesn't help the rim defense go up. He doesn't help the rebounding. He doesn't help anything of their sort, of their weaknesses. He just makes their strengths still real strong.
I think the one thing he does improve, though, they're just not a good three-point shooting team, full stop.
Yeah.
And, I mean, one person doesn't change that from 25th to 5th, but, like, that's just one thing. Just have somebody that's a high volume, on the catch, off the dribble. He does it all from 3, and they just haven't had that. So that's the one thing I would say.
Yeah. And it could be cascading to some degree, where you look at, like, maybe Keegan Murray is getting less attention defensively on the 3-point line. And I don't know what he's at lately. I know the first third of the season was nightmarish from 3 for him. And so maybe as slotting everyone down a spot in terms of how much spacing they're really being asked to provide, you get some better results. I do like the fit with LaVine, and I think offensively I have no questions about it. I think they'll figure it out, even though there's kind of a weird maybe I don't know if I want to call it crowding, but it's just you have very specific lineups that will accomplish different specific things, and you don't necessarily have 5 guys that you're going to throw out there that's going to be your best bet every single time. But on the defensive end, it's just like if Keon Ellis and Keegan Murray were working hard before, like it's gonna be really difficult now.
Yeah. So on the season, they're 19th in defensive rating, 29th in rim volume, 24th in 3-point volume. That's offensively for both of those. 28th in 3-point volume. They're 24th in opponent rim field goal percentage. So if you get there against Sabonis and DeMar DeRozan and all them, you're going to score on them. And they're 24th in half-court defense. Those are very, very difficult flaws to build a good team around. They are pretty good at not allowing teams to get to the rim because they sell out there because they know that Domantas Sabonis is not going to be a threat down there. So they got to really, really close in on drives and really not let people get there at all, which results in them giving up a lot of threes. And they don't take a lot of threes. So that's a really rough place to start from as a modern offense. You're going to lose a 3-point battle every single game while also not being a strong defense. That's a zero possibility of being
a great
team.
Ethics.
So
it's called ethics, Isaac. It's called not selling out to this woke modern basketball that we're talking about. It's called tough.
We want mid-range jumpers. That's real basketball.
So maybe they are selling out. Fox for Levine is like a definite like modern step in a modern direction in terms of play style, or at least just like the offense that each guy provides. But
Sacramento goes woke. That's the headline.
I guess. I mean, yeah. But like, I agree that just building a competitive team here, it feels like the foundation is not solid, and I don't expect anything to happen. They'll probably still try their hearts out or whatever, but yeah, it just feels like they're very stuck in the very same place that they were before all this went down.
Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan played 4,000 minutes together. What do y'all think their net rating was in those 4,000 minutes?
-2.
Yes, minus 1.8 is the exact.
Damn.
DeMar DeRozan by himself, no Zach LaVine is a +2 net rating, and Zach LaVine, no DeMar DeRozan's even 0. So worse with each other on the court.
What are the Kings cooking? What do they got going on there? I don't know.
Kraft mac and cheese. The only interesting part to me that I guess could be the silver lining is, like I said, Malik Monk and Domantas Sabonis are your best two playmakers, even with Fox in the door. And Malik Monk has really, like, specifically taken a huge playmaking leap this year. In fact, that I think some Kings fans were like, low-key, he should run the show. He's kind of a better passer than Fox. So you bring him in and you empower him to be a playmaker. He's at 99th percentile assist percentage for his position, 8.7 assists per 100. Sabonis has very similar numbers. Zach LaVine fits next to that better than De'Aaron Fox does, playing off of those two guys, your main hubs. And DeMar DeRozan this year, his assist percentage is 14.6, his lowest since 2013. This is by far the least he's played with the ball in his hands. That is not going to be smart in any capacity. If you have DeMar on your team and he is not playmaking, he doesn't bring enough defense, doesn't bring enough rebounding, doesn't bring enough outside shooting to warrant him being in the lineup. And he's going to be there for all the reasons he should be there. He's a talented player, the politics of it, whatnot. I guess you could say by bringing in a player who's more of an off-ball threat and not as on-ball as De'Aaron Fox, maybe you're giving DeMar a better version of himself, and maybe that maximizes what you want to do a little more. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't hate that argument because again, as someone who's watched a bunch of DeMar DeRozan, he is a plus passer in the grand scheme of things. He's not Cade Cunningham or Trae Young. But I do believe that like some of his numbers from this season are definitely skewed from when Mike Brown was the coach and he was sitting in the corner for possessions at a time, just not being used whatsoever. And if I were to guess, the numbers under Doug Christie would be just better, because I feel like he's more incorporated. Even the other night, they had a game where him and Malik Monk were just taking turns creating for themselves and each other. So, yeah, a lot of their numbers I feel like are just skewed. But then also the 10 games post Doug Christie are skewed too, like the new coach bump that you get. Yeah. Just the greatest team of all time. So it probably lies somewhere in the middle, I guess.
Do you guys know when did Doug Christie start coaching them? What was the date?
Right before Christmas.
It was after the Lakers 23rd. Loss, I'm pretty sure.
The Lakers loss was just game one, was Christie's first game.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Since January 1st. Since January 1st, DeMar actually has a lower assist percentage. It's only 12% instead of 14.6. Never mind. Yeah, no, he's probably getting a lot more buckets and not being in the corner. That man is not playmaking more. He's out there getting fucking mid-range buckets, which fair enough. Even maybe that's still, maybe you want him to have a higher usage because you got to. But then again, I feel like I'm saying this and I feel like I'm talking myself into the same talking points people were saying when Russell Westbrook was a Laker. They're like, he sucks off ball, put the ball in his hands. That's the best version you're going to get of him. And that's just a bad outcome. So I don't know. Maybe the team is just not in a good spot and it's not going to be pretty regardless.
They're going to be one of the best league pass teams, though. I'll tell you that much. It's going to be fun.
They're flying
it's
around.
Be fun as hell.
Yeah. I mean,
and overall, just shout out Zach LaVine for being ridiculously efficient this year.
It is a crazy. I mean, it's not even an outlier year. I don't know. I just I did not expect him to bounce back from the foot thing into like really what's been a career year as far as like shooting goes and everything. And so yeah, shout out to him. Shout out to the Kings because I do think they'll be fun and they'll be competitive. And it's just I can't even say trending in the right direction. They're just kind of like staying where they were, just
exactly.
in a different version of everything. And so if you liked watching it before, then there's probably still some stuff you'll like, but I don't know. I'm not any more Kings pilled than I was beforehand.
All right, well, we don't got to talk about the Kings anymore. They're the least interesting team here, I think. Let's talk about the team that people are here to hear you talk about, Mr. Kenny. What do you grade this trade for the Chicago Bulls?
I think I'm actually a lot less upset about it as like the normal Bulls fan. I just kind of think about what the options were. Last year, we had to, in theory, give up multiple picks to get off Zach LaVine's contract. This year, we didn't get any picks back, but like at least we didn't have to. Oh, we did give up a second. I'm sorry, we did give up a second round pick in this trade for whatever reason. Other than that, giving up the 38th overall pick in this year's draft, I kind of look at it with this trade attached to the last trade, attached to the last trade, attached to the last trade. Right?
Oh, God.
This trade by itself is not that bad of a deal. We get two bad contracts in Kevin Huerter and Zach Collins, who I guess they're trying to flip regardless. And then we get the full-on ability to take not just this year, but next year as well, right? Because if that pick didn't convey this year, it would have been unprotected next year. And the guy that's going to BYU, I heard he's pretty damn good, so I want in all that on that. But it's like when you pair it with – here's what I want to talk about. Last year, our four best players were DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Vucevic, and Alex Caruso. Three of those guys are gone. And we have no draft capital to show for it. And Vucevic, as of right now,
you have Giddey. Come on, dude. You got Josh Giddey.
Vucevic is still there right now, but if he does get traded, I'm going to just assume we don't get capital in exchange for him as well. Yeah. Unless you want to count the 2 seconds we got from DeMar that are protected. I don't count that shit.
Yeah.
Bro, I got so much hate in my heart for this fucking franchise. I'm not even a fan of theirs. I know I said I graded the Kings on a curve for King standards. I should probably do the same thing and grade the Bulls on Bull standards, which is bullshit. I'm not going to do that. They get an F. To me, it is ridiculous that you get the good PR of the Zach LaVine bounce back season in which he's the most efficient off-ball scoring guard in the goddamn league. Yeah. And what do you get in return? A salary dump. And to have the headline be you unprotect your pick that was top 10 protected and you're ninth right now, all you had to do was be kind of bad for half a season. It's so easy to not get that pick sent away. And for them to be like, at least we added value. In case it's 11, we keep it. That is such malpractice. It's kind of hysterical.
Matas is getting more minutes, so bad isn't guaranteed. He might be too good for them to tank, dude.
It's just so fucking stupid that like the pick you already were gonna have, now you have it for sure when you already had like a 90% chance. You can't extract any other value, and more importantly, you come into the deal and you give the Kings their win now player that allows the Spurs to in turn fleece the shit out of you. That's the real bad part here is the Kings get their even value. You allowed the Spurs to make you look silly. You straight up got fleeced. Again, they kept Vassell, they kept Castle strictly because you came in. That's hilarious.
I do want to point out that is the third time the Spurs have fleeced our current front office, by the way.
Nice.
We gave up that pick to bring in DeMar DeRozan. Then we gave DeMar DeRozan to the Kings, and the Kings received the first round pick for taking Harrison Barnes. We gave up the best player in the deal, and then now this one. So like the Spurs just love taking advantage of Chicago, which I can't blame them. If you're gonna have an idiot in charge, I would call his phone too.
I was gonna say, I wonder what the war room was like when they're like trying to get this deal done, and they're like, should we call Chicago? And the guy's like, no way they do it again. No way they let it happen again. And like they hang up the phone, like they did it. They went for it. Oh my god, dude.
So like the idiots running the Bulls, they see a Spurs phone call and their eyes light up. They're like, hell yeah, that's my friend. That's my business partner. Just come in and do some business. You think all the assistant GMs just like view it like a dad coming in with a belt? They just know what's coming. They know it's gonna be bad news, and they're like, "Oh fuck, he's gonna do it again."
Yeah.
It's just a mismanagement of assets from this team every single trade.
Yeah, I graded this. The Bulls got a D from me, but it's funny. Every Bulls fan I've talked to is kind of like, I've been trying to think of how to put it, like a parent who has like a bad kid, and every time they get a call from the school, they're just like, "Oh, he did what?" And it's like, "Oh, that's not that. that's not that bad. Like I can handle that. That's not the worst thing he's ever done. So yeah, that's fine. That's kind of what this trade is like to me, where it's like it's not good." But when you contextualize it with every other thing, like when you listed the 4 best players last year, I don't think if you listed them to me yet last year, Vooch is not the guy that I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna get draft capital for that guy. Like it's probably not gonna happen with him. And so when you look at the way, like you said, they have mismanaged everything else. Yeah, just the fact that like it's not a complete disaster. In the context of like how the Bulls work, you're kind of on top. And the fact that like they could have like pivoted, I wouldn't have surprised me. Just they're so dumb that like if they had pivoted to try and remain competitive somehow, like they had swapped Levine for like another just okay player and gone for like 35 wins again next year or something, nothing's beyond them for me at this point. So the fact that you are pretty much confirmed tanking, good step in the right direction. Like I would be happy.
I love your analogy of the bad kid, because it's just so funny that like you're just so scarred that anything that's not the worst thing you've ever seen is like, oh, it's decent.
Yeah, they're like worn down.
Like my son cut off his math teacher's hair. Oh, well, at least he didn't light the cat on fire this time. It's okay.
Like that's literally what it is. It's tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah, I feel like we should have rules in sports that like the fan base gets to vote on if someone keeps their job.
Dude. No,
can you imagine that?
Do you know what you're describing? You're describing revolution. You're describing pitchforks. You're describing something that
I've
requires
been
fans
calling
to be
for
about
that
it.
for 7 years.
Hey.
Nobody cares enough. Everybody's still packing out the UC.
Hearing the means of production might have to change hands sometime. I don't know. Maybe people should start reading some stuff. That's pretty interesting. I like that idea, Kenny.
Oh man, I love that the Bulls show me so much love, like their social media team, because I just absolutely shit on them every chance I get, like the actual team, but like nobody takes offense to it. Like I could be blackballed from Bulls games for how much I talk shit, but they're like, yeah, Jumbotron, come on, throw some t-shirts. I'm like, fuck it, yeah, let's throw some t-shirts.
You're gonna be the fucking Bulls Che Guevara leading a revolution, power to the people, and they're gonna give you the key to the city still.
That rocks. Hell yeah.
Aye, comrades, let's attack this front office.
Yeah, I think it's a good.
Like, how about courtside tickets?
Right. No, I think let's like. Never mind. I don't want to say anything too crazy on y'all.
Okay.
Jerry Reinsdorf and the Reinsdorf family should sell the team. I'll just say that they should just sell
the way we put
both
it,
teams that they own.
The way we put it on State of the League, whenever Arturas Karnisovas comes up, Pablo goes, 4 horses tied to 4 limbs, running 4 unknown directions. Who's to say what's going on? You know, we would neither confirm nor deny what's going to happen in that regard. But yeah, 4 horses. That's all we need.
4 horses. I love that. That's some classical shit.
Yeah, dude. He's fed up.
He's the most under quant. Pablo is fed up.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. He's fed up in the sense that
breaking news, y'all.
What? Oh shit.
We got a trade. It's nothing interesting. Close your eyes. The Washington Wizards are trading Jonas Valanciunas to the Kings for City Kosoko and 2 first-round, second-round picks.
No shot. They got, dude. Oh, that's insane.
Another dribble handoff center is so insane. I love it.
They want Alex Len backup center. Not good enough. Give us a slower foot.
That's so
until they
funny.
build a slower-footed center.
Dude, they're gonna have to build a statue for Keon Ellis, bro. He's the only dude in that locker room that can stay in front of somebody.
Oh, that's so. Shout out to Kosoko or whatever. One of the Kings guys I'm friends with was like, he's been clamoring. He was like, if we do anything with the Spurs, we have to get this guy. He was so sick in the G League, and so he was happy for like 18 hours or whatever. And now,
you know how down bad you are that you're praying to the gods for City Kosoko to bring you to.
That's Kings fans, man. That's Kings fans. I don't know what else to say. Right? 2 seconds for Jonas is a fleece. That's
Hey, you know what that's gonna do though? That's gonna help Domantas Sabonis to finally have positive on-off defensive numbers, because you go from a terrible anchor defense with Sabonis to Jonas Valanciunas. You found the one defensive anchor that's a little bit worse at the rim.
Can we give a shout out to? Oh my God, they played on the same national team. Forgot about that. Big shout out to the Washington Wizards, by the way. Good deadline for what it's worth. You know, get some young talent, some draft capital for a bad Kyle Kuzma and now a bad Jonas Valanciunas. I would say that's a win. They just signed Jonas 6 months ago to a very team-friendly deal to flip him. So the last couple years for the Washington Wizards front office has been pretty damn good. I still can't watch them play basketball, but like they're going in the right direction.
It's unthinkable.
Every night for the last 4 months, I've been waking up in cold sweats, worried that Robert Pelinka might trade for Jonas Valanciunas, and I'm so glad that thought is out of my life.
Yeah,
it's over, man.
I've only been to a few Wizards games this year because, like you said, they're tough to watch. But Kuzma off the team, first of all, instant upgrade in terms of watchability. But second of all, the only ones I went to, I paid like good money for good seats to see Jokic drop 56 and lose, and I haven't been back since. So
you can't go back.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. Valanciunas and Kuzma off the team, AJ whatever from the Bucks. Yeah, I feel like they've been I don't know, a good team regardless of like the players they end up adding. I feel like a smart way to go about it is just as many swings as possible, as many young players as you can get. There's no reason to have Valanciunas on the team. So yeah, Sissoko in a couple seconds. Go right ahead.
Is now the average age of the Wizards 18 years old? After,
Malcolm
Brogdon is still there.
Valanciunas was propping it up a lot. 40-year-old Valanciunas.
Well, don't forget, Chris Middleton is there now too. He's really pumping those numbers.
Oh, okay.
Is he gonna suit up? Is he gonna play for them? I'd be so disrespected.
If the ankles allow.
Kevin Garnett, man.
How many years does he have left on his contract? They need to buy him out and do him a favor, despite having like 2 or 3 years left and it not making any sense fiscally.
If I'm not mistaken, it's a player option. He's got a player option.
He is 34 mil. Yeah, he's picking it up for sure.
Yeah. All right, man. Good for him, or not good for him? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, last section of this episode. We're done with the Bulls talk. FFF. It's the worst franchise in the league. We're aware of this. Don't got to rub it in any further than I just did for the 5th time. I want to name you 2 NBA teams, and I want you to tell me which one has a brighter future.
Oh, okay.
On this topic. So,
all right.
First off, let's stick with the Bulls. Chicago Bulls or Golden State Warriors?
Sheesh.
Oh my God.
Do they have a prospect as good as Midas Buzelis?
No.
Hey, John Kuminga is the future. We don't need Kevin Durant. We got Kuminga at home.
Yes. Shout out to Pods. I don't know if he's Matas level anymore. I'll go Bulls. I'll save Kenny. You don't even have to say it, man. I'll go Bulls because the Warriors, it's gonna be better to watch a dog shit Bulls team try their best with like weird young players. That I don't want to watch Steph Curry die and like rot away in the end of Golden State's era. And that's what's gonna happen. Like they're leaking all this. We're trying our best to get Kevin Durant stuff so that when it doesn't happen and the deadline's passed, he could be like, Steph, we tried, man. We did everything we could. Looks like you have to play.
You're saying Steph?
Yeah.
You think Steph is Apollo Creed? Joe Laco's refusing to throw the white flag in?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, shit. I guess we're going with the Bulls.
Yeah, I'll go Bulls.
No, I'm going to go Warriors because who do you trust more to draft better?
Not Joe Laco.
Believe it or not, he's better than Artunis Karnisovas. If you are 6'8" and can't shoot and can't defend, you're a bull.
You're a bull.
Like that's the archetype. So I trust. I trust the Warriors finding the rookie season of Pods versus Dalen Terry.
Oh, come on. Not Dalen. That's fucked up. Dalen Terry's promising, dude. He's such an athlete.
Dalen, I met DT and he said, love your show. So actually, I take back everything I just said about him.
I'm sending this clip to him. I'm sending this clip. Dalen, he's a snake, man. Don't talk to him anymore. Oh, yeah.
Okay, next one.
All right.
The Spurs or the Magic?
The Spurs. If you
Spurs.
you have it could literally be Wemby and then like me, Kenny, and Isaac, and I would still pick the Spurs because it's Victor Wembanyama.
The Magic had their franchise player, one of the most promising young stars in the league, Franz Wagner, with a solid sidekick over there playing next to him. Kind of like it.
You're definitely a calculator guy. I love that, man.
Yeah. I've long been labeled a Paolo hater.
I'm going to go Wemby, though, because I can't ever see a Wemby team being the worst offensive team of all time. That's just that simple. Yeah. Wemby's always going to be at least 29th in the league offensively, while the Orlando Magic can't hit a shot. I feel like we could guard the Orlando Magic as long as they aren't allowed to dunk. Like, it's us. I'm picking us.
Just put our hands together in center of the room.
Yeah.
We got it.
Yeah. Shout out to the first 5 games of Paolo this year, and everything else. No one cares, because it's either you've made up your mind. Either he's injured and none of it counts, or he was bad the whole time and he's Italian Julius Randle. Like those are the two camps.
It's modern day Carmelo Anthony. It's like either you absolutely love it or you absolutely hate it. No in between.
I've been labeled a Paolo hater. I'm not actually a hater, but I've said like I'd easily rather have Chet. So like in comparison talks, I've been a Paolo hater because I've just like said like I'd rather have these guys. First 5 games, I was like, y'all got it. You proved me wrong. He decided to start attacking the rim. He used his size. He doesn't want to shoot a mid-range jumper every play. Got hurt, came back. It's been exactly the same as last year. And I don't even know how to feel anymore because I'm battling biases left and right. Do I hold on to what I thought before? Do I trust those 5 games? Like 5 games is just small enough that I'm like, I don't know what to believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd say trust the spreadsheets,
for 5
man.
games.
It's worked out well enough for you so far.
Okay. Lakers or Mavericks?
What are we doing?
I just want another time to say
I am the
most blessed fan in the world.
Yeah.
Cool. Just in case you forgot, Luka Doncic is a Laker. Like, I don't know if you've thought about it in the last 30 seconds, but I'm here to make sure you do.
Yeah. I got a fucking predator drone honing in on your location. I need you to shut the fuck up. I can't do this anymore, man.
Will it ever die out, or this gonna be the case for the next 12 years? Like,
I got like at least 18 more months of this in me.
I guess. Yeah.
That's fair.
The
I can't
best
be mad because I would be doing the
timeline
same
here.
thing.
Yeah. Is like Luka's calf is real, and like it's like the best possible timeline is Nico Harrison is somehow like 100% correct, and Isaac in a year is just like fuck, everything's so done, mad. It's cooked.
See, that's the good thing. He hasn't played a game yet. Nothing's happened, so I can only believe it'll be a three-peat. I can only believe it'll be multiple-time MVP. He re-signs 10 years here, greatest Laker of all time. I have no reason to believe otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
How are we defining future? Is it the next 4 to 5 years or the next 10 years? Because I think that matters when we talk about what Nico was saying.
Let's say 6 years from now. Let's meet in the middle.
In 6 years from now, Max Christie's what, 28, 29? Max Christie got him, man.
Yeah. The franchise in good
Quentin
hands.
Grimes is. Oh wait, they traded. Shit.
Oh
okay.
my God. Yeah.
I've never seen Max Christie drink a beer, not once.
I don't even think he can.
Yeah, I'll go
is
Lakers.
He not 21?
Yeah, I'd card him at least. He looks like a baby. So
Yeah,
it's baby Kobe.
Oh my God,
But-
I guess.
That's everything I talk about today. That's the episode. Kenny, if people are still here, what should they comment?
they should comment. Pitchforks and grenade launchers.
Whoa. Okay. It's the edgiest I've ever heard Kenny go. Let's get it. All right.
Let's see how
We're
locked in
having
they are.
a bazooka walkout at American Airlines. All right, man. Bring your bazookas to the next Bulls game.
Arturis Carter, show us count your fucking days, big dog. Hey, this is a comedy podcast. This is all satire. I just wanna, none of this would hold up because we're making jokes. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see y'all next week.